Hey guys, you know, it's kind of weird that, well, I guess it wouldn't kind of be, I guess you wouldn't say it's kind of weird, but I think a word is more along the lines of ironic. You know what I mean? You know what I mean by ironic? I mean that it seems that when you get to a certain theme for recent seasons, there's always a follow-up to that. In other words, lately, MLP seasons have always had a theme. And whether or not that theme has been picked up on towards the second half of the season and the end of the first half, it's all depending. But when you take a look at this season, whether it's already finished up depending on where you live, or whether or not, hold on for a sec. Sorry about that. Across the parking lot right there, or at least the entranceway to the parking lot. But like I was saying, depending on how you look at it, it seems recent seasons have always had some kind of purpose to them. It's like you get a hint of exactly what or who is going to be the central focus, I should say, in the finale right off the bat. I mean, for us, this season, again, if it's already finished up, depending on where you live in the world, pretty much the central focus for the finale is and was the student 6, the young 6. Last season, we didn't really get much of a hint until about the second half with, I think it was a Campfire Tales or something like that episode, about the pillars coming into existence. We really didn't have any clue that they were going to be a central focused thing, or we didn't know they were going to be a central. What I'm trying to say is, I'm hearing some sirens in the background. We didn't know they were going to be center focused in the finale until, at least, like I said, the Campfire Tales episode, where we first get introduced to them. And then every other episode after that, we ended up getting more details on these pillars. Sorry about that, but like I said, we ended up getting more information about these pillars. And by getting more information about these pillars, we got a better idea of, they're probably going to play they're going to probably play a major role in the finale. The same could go for the season afterwards. Again, sorry about that, folks. Somebody was asking me about the trees and why, I don't know. Anyway, getting back on topic. So again, sorry about that. Season 7, at least towards the second half, we didn't know that the pillars were going to play a major part until the Campfire Tale episode, where we learned about 3 of them. And then we got another episode which focused on one of the other pillars, which I think was Sambanella, and then another one which focused on Meadowbrook, and then of course we had Starswell, who we've known about since the beginning, almost since the beginning of the show. So long story short, long story short, there's always been a season where what you hear about either at the beginning or in the second half of the season pretty much becomes the central focus, I should say, of the finale, or is going to play a major part. In fact, I think you go 2 seasons prior to this one, season 6, and you pretty much had an idea of exactly who was going to play a major center part, or who's going to be a majorly centered, focused character, along with some other characters in the finale for season 6, and of course that was Starlight. Heck, you even look at season 5, and you know not only would Starlight play a major role later on in the finale, but she would be playing this major role alongside that of Twilight. So you knew something was there, and something was being hinted at for that finale right at the start. And again, sometimes things don't really pick up until the second half. Like I said, season 7, we didn't know whether or not, we didn't know whether or not what kind of finale we were going to get. We didn't know yay or nay on who or what would be involved in the finale until the second half, pretty much. Pretty much the second half came around, and we got an idea of what we were going to deal with, or who was going to be part of this finale and what it was going to be about, pretty much in that second half. Well, at least we kind of had an idea of who was going to be involved in it. Heck, even season 4, pretty much at the beginning of that season, or around the beginning of that season, gave us a clue and an idea of what was going to be the center focus, what was going to be the central focus of it, who the antagonist was going to be, stuff like that. They gave us basically a pretty darn good clue right off the bat, almost, of season 4 of what we were going to be dealing with come the finale of season 4. So yeah, it seems that when you look at season 4, 5, 6, somewhat 6, if you go 4, 5, 6, and 8. 3 out of these 4 past seasons, 4, 5, 6, and 8, 3 out of these 4 past seasons, you pretty much had a clue or acknowledgement of who was going to play the major roles in the finale. Now, true, you didn't know what roles they would play until more clues and hints were thrown right at you throughout the first half and even the second half of the seasons. But as you got into that second half and towards the end of that first half, you did kind of get an idea of, okay, this is what we're building up to. This is what's going to happen. So you started getting a clue, and like I said, a clue and an idea of what would happen, mostly at the end of the first half and mostly throughout the second half. Now the question remains, what is season 9 going to be like? Are we going to know right off the bat that Grogar is going to be the major baddie we're dealing with right off the bat at the start of season 9? I've already hinted and discussed that we're going to probably know at the end of the 2-part premiere. If we get a 2-part premiere, we're going to probably find out that he's responsible for whatever happens in that 2-part premiere. And I think throughout some of the first half and mostly the second half, very traditionally, we'll find out more about who this guy is, or at least the G4 interpretation. And like I said, I would not be surprised if we find out he's responsible for all the all that darkness, that dark magic and stuff that has affected Equestria for over 1,000 years. So it's been part of Equestria's existence over the past 1,000 of years. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that he's responsible for that. But like I said, I don't think we're going to find out anything until at least the end of the first half and into the second half, just like we've had with these previous seasons. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens. Now, we could find out a lot more because it is potentially the last season of MLP-FIM. But again, we don't know. We don't know. We could probably find out a lot throughout the entire season. Maybe we'll find out a lot of information in the first half and the second half because it is potentially the last season. Although just continue protocol and tradition. And that's just have us find out more about the character and towards the end of the first half and into the second half. Now, again, the question is though, are we going to get any clues and hints of not just probably Grogar being the finale villain, the series finale villain, but are we going to get any clues and hints of how big of a threat he is, or who or what's going to be involved as far as the protagonists, the good guys, the ponies, the ponies that are good, the ponies and creatures that are good. Who out of they are going to be involved in this? Are we going to have any kind of idea of exactly, who's going to play a major role and who's not going to play a major role? Are we going to get, any clue or any kind of idea of, any kind of setup for the mid-season finale? Like, are we going to get a clue as to who that mid-season finale villain will be? And will that tie in to the series finale? So, a lot of questions will still have to be answered. But, again, I look at it this way. With potentially season 9 being the last season, I think Hasbro and DHX are going to really want to go all out, and get all in, point of phrase, on trying to make this final season, one of the very best, and not the very best season, character development wise, story wise, you name it. They're going to want to give it the whole 9 yards. They're going to want to try to hit a home run or a grand slam with every episode. That should be the intended goal as we get towards this potential last season. But the question again would be, what is season 9 going to be like? Are we going to find out right at the start, who's going to be involved in season, are we going to find out from the start, just like we have in 3 out of the recent 4 seasons, of who's going to be the central focus as far as like protagonist, who's going to probably be involved at the end, and we're going to find out potentially who the antagonist is going to be, which obviously is Grogar, but we're going to find out about him, somewhat in the beginning, like at the end of part 1 or throughout part 1. What is it going to be? What are we going to get? Are we going to find out are we going to find out anything about the power that Gusty and the Unicorn Warriors use to defeat him? And perhaps maybe that's what the main 6 or main 7 need to get. The question is, I think the overall question is, are we going to be following the same track that the 3 out of 4 seasons have already followed? And that is, you'll get a hint of what's happening, or a taste and a hint at the beginning and somewhat throughout the first half of what's going to be coming at the end of the season, or the series in this case. Or are we going to wait until the later half of the first half to give clues and hints, and then the second half just really dive in? Those are questions that I think that's probably the biggest question that we're gonna have to hopefully will get answered as we approach season 9. So let me know what you guys think down below. I gotta get back into work now, and I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care.